Hello, I'm Rabbi Elton and welcome to From the Rabbi's Bookshelves, here from the Great Synagogue. As some of you know, aside from Jewish religious learning, one of my great passions is Jewish music, in particular the music of the synagogue, and we're graced here with a very fine choir, and Rabbi Phil Kaplan, who sings beautifully as the Chazan, and I enjoy that very much. And I also enjoy reading about the history and development of Jewish music and Jewish liturgical music in particular. And I want to talk about this book here, Jewish Music, Its Historical Development, by Abram Z. Idelson. This book was published as long ago as 1929, and yet it is still being reprinted. It's still a classic. We should understand this work in the context of other similar works in different areas of the same time. The 19th century and early 20th century was a time when Jews were researching into our own traditions and our own materials from an academic point of view. There was study of the Torah and the Talmud and rabbinic writings, and also studies of Jewish music. And Idelson is the father of Jewish musicology. He was trained as a Chazan in Eastern Europe, born in Eastern Europe in the 1880s, and he also gets a Western musical education as well. And he brings this knowledge of both Eastern and Western music to bear on a thorough and systematic understanding of the way Jewish music develops. So he starts with the reading of the Torah, the special notes for reading the Torah, all the way through Nusach, which is the traditional modes and melodies used in the synagogue service, to the work in the Renaissance by Solomon de Rossi and others, and then to modern synagogue composers of the 19th and 20th century. And he explains and describes and critiques each one of those different developments. Let me share with you what he says about Louis Lewandowski. He gives a lot of space to Lewandowski, who was the choir master of Berlin in the middle to late 19th century and transforms synagogue music. We sing many of his pieces here at the Great Synagogue, and he gives a lot of attention because of the impact he had. Let me read you just one paragraph. In 1871, Lewandowski produced a volume of music called Kol Rina, and this is Idelson's description of its impact. The appearance of his Kol Rina in 1871 caused a sensation in the Chazanic circle. It was the first time that a complete service for Sabbath and festivals, which detailed recitatives for the entire text of the prayers, had appeared, a work which enabled every young man of fair musical ability and voice to master the liturgical and traditional chazanut in a modern form. The Kol Rina became the most popular reference book for the average chazan. It developed a certain type of chazan, who were called Kol Rina cantors. So there we have an encapsulation of this massive impact of a new work which takes traditional melodies and traditional modes and puts them in a modern musical style which is going to appeal to many, many cantors and many, many congregations, and is felt even today when we're still singing Lewandowski's melodies and we're still reading Idelson's book because it's still the best guide to those developments both in the 19th century and before. Thank you for joining.